Hello Biblionauts. It's been a while. I'm not here to catch up or to tell you what I think or what I'm doing. I've just been brought here by a friend of mine who made a tag and was kind enough to reach out. A tag about which are the redeeming works of humanity. That is kind of the idea. It's imagine an alien species came here to judge our existence and decide whether or not we deserve to exist at all. And so the way that this tag is designed is as an offering to this alien species, an offering of art, of music, of literature and architecture. The best works of humanity, those that show the full capacity, the full realization of the potentiality of being for the humankind. And I found it really nice that she reached out to me, and I found it incredibly interesting as a tag. But I'm also a writer, and as you know, a really bad booktuber. So I'm going to appropriate a little bit the topic and perhaps not be so positive and not be so clear. But if any of you want a more explicit list, let me know and I will email you. I have a PDFs with all my favorite paintings and all my favorite songs and all my favorite books and everything. So I'm more than happy to also do that. But now I'm just gonna be a little bit more poetic because you just caught me on a day that I was a bit inspired. And I wrote something called A Letter to an Alien. I will tag probably other booktubers or writing tubers in this video. Hopefully other people decide to be a little bit more personal in the way that they do this tag, because I think it's it's something that you can take personally if you want, and I decided to do so. So, a letter to an alien that is our prescripted judge. Okay, just a second. Don't mind the music. I just needed something to get into this modality of of thinking. Strange other. It seems strange to be writing to you in human language, and all to human creation. It is so because I have been chosen to make a case for those I am bound to consider my own, against my will and better judgment. Indeed you are strange to me, very strange. Melville, Shakespeare, Borges, Mahler, Isabowski, Rapin are all great choices in my eyes. Just like I could hold up the rubric of Dante, Whitman, Pessoa, Beethoven, Plato, or Billy Wilder, Sontag or Heidegger. I could hold up a pile of books, Minima Moralia, Don Quixote, Solaris, War and Peace. And if I felt so inclined, I could hide away the key to my neighbor's house, in the Gulag archipelago of 100-year wall on Palestine, and other pieces. Come and see the Dead Poets Society, Small Axe, Harakiri, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, Hamlet, 1948 and 1996. I could be soft and say, as I was moving ahead, occasionally I saw brief glimpses of beauty, or be truthfully severe like Turner in Rain, Steam and Speed, like Saturn or Nastaglio degli Onesti, mysterious like Gustave Carew, magnificent like Gustave Doré, or intimate like Baker's Blue Interior and Menzel's and Lempic's. I could be grotesque like Goya, beautifully true like Delacroix, graceful in the tempest of your eyeless face like Waterhouse. I could be a woman clothed with the sand, Berkinsky's skeletons, Rosa's human frailty, Giro Kurasai, Grimshaw, or Utagawa. Acutely soothing like Monet, like Chase's keynote, like Seal's intimate portraits and loud embrace, and like the oracle of Gil's Keting, whispered auguries of innocence to your foreign mind. The right hand holds the darkness of Caravaggio's soul. The left hand is Michelangelo's. Behold the garden of earthly delights. Behold Klimt's life and death. Open your ears if you have them. Open your hearts if you have them. And listen to the full spectrum of sound. Listen to the sound of the seasons that begin and end in Vivaldi's winter, as well as in Nights in White Satin, and Deep Purple, and Carmina Burana, and Cat Stevens, and White Rabbit, and Toxicity, and Clay Birds, and Pavarotti, and Joaquin Sabina, and Johnny Cash and Bob Dylan singing together to the girl from the North Country. For I wish you were here like Silvio's Ojalá, like Autes Alba, like Gaynor's Survival, like Queens, like Atahualpas, like Trianas, with the gymnopedes and the preludes, to the space oddity in which we blow like dust in the wind, like a maggot's brain in this dance macabre, in this redemption song, in this Little Season and Little Rascal, and there's Ursala, and the Upanishad, and the Eddas, and more poetry, much more poetry, and some of it mine. For I am human, and their stories are also my stories. Their troubles, their fears, their vengeance, their years, their memories, their failings, their ignorance, their perhaps and their nots, and perhaps not their ignorance. For I know not to know. For not to know what I know I don't know is the very essence of not knowing, and knowing that, like Francisco Sanchez, you know not what you know, but you know all the rest. I feel like the absence of birds and breaking waves and green sunlight cutting through the highest leaves of the jungle. I know icebergs, and I know creatures that bite and growl, and beasts and pyrosomes and pigs and snakes and rats and sharks and mushrooms. I know, as a human, I know what I am to the inhuman, to the non-human. You cannot read our history. You don't have to know our language to realize. I am making no effort to know you. No effort. Why should we not be forgotten? I don't even know what's your name. I haven't asked. I am but an exile of our rulers, of our world, that which expands through the earth, through the world, like putrefaction. I am not so attached to the idea of power. What is the meaning of self-preservation when the species to which you belong perpetually devours and exterminates the forms of life that you recognize? I have loved many humans, and should you give us the breath of absolution, I shall love many more. Not by precepts or preordained axioms, not for money or blood, but love truthfully, love deeply, love implacably. However, at this hour, I must formulate the question one more time. Do we really deserve to exist? Should you visit us? Should we go on living? Should I? If you are to respond affirmatively, you will be condoning a species that is unable to grasp, let alone tolerate, otherness. Which is to say that you will forever remain a stranger, your personhood will be questioned, your home expropriated, and your future sooner or later compromised by the scheming kind. My people are not only an evil people. That is just one kind. But before you cross the doorframe and choose to stay, you must know. You must know that the takers have taken it all. They have taken all the power and the resources, and the remaining majority live through self-denial and betrayal. You don't need to save us in order to preserve intelligent life. In fact, intelligence is punished and often prosecuted in our society. Kindness, honesty, of the true kind. Inner peace, self-awareness, humility, care, determination, openness are not general human traits. They are anomalies, mutations that are no longer favored by natural selection. Nevertheless, when you find them, they make everything else worth it. To me, that is. Featherless biped that often lets others suffer in order to preserve his own comfort. But what about you? You who embody a true third person. To you that see the human stain asphyxiating this plethora of life that still surrounds us. To you we ought to be a monument of the past. You must look at the seas and know that the tides will rise just as beautifully without us. I cannot make the case for humanity. For the sake of those I love, I cannot. Because I love them, and I know how many others don't get to breathe in the way I do. What's alive lives, has lived, and will go on living, with or without consciousness. It is not my concern. I, like the former Viking, am an ant who can only see the leaf above its head. And that leaf, like Loki's, brings me comfort. Some comfort from the sun. Despite that, I know it's just a leaf. Yet my rays would kill rather than break such a comfort. And so all the truths I have experienced have been a secret. A secret that I fear will be left behind, like all the works of men. The maps, the place, the cities, the rhymes. From the first to the last, forgotten. For this reason I say, enjoy the works, enjoy the music, the comedies, the linen, the marble and papyrus. Rejoice in the human drama, the human jest, the erotic of the mundane and the symphonies of piled up minds and bodies witness to our works. Hold them, love them, but never, never think they redeem us. Not from the original sin. There is no such a thing. But from the life we miss down here, where we are. Our stories are narratives in a language you can learn to understand and appreciate. But your effort will never be rewarded, because this race does not dare to know. It doesn't dare to care, nor to change. It doesn't live like it could, but like it's told, willingly unable to recognize its own horizon. And there is no redemption for that.